Now we need to go ahead and protect this one down here on the bottom like this. We'll need to go ahead and get this into this gray box up here. That's a big lot size for the size account that it is. So I want to be very cautious and, go ahead and at least get into this gray box, getting a good little push up here. I'll protect it. If not, I'll just go in, close it, and be done with that one. So we can see here, we got that one running. If it gets down close to this one, we'll close it out. We don't want, to get a little crazy since we are over leveraging that little entry. Let's get back to that gray box. Let's give it a little tap there and protect this bad boy. All right, go ahead, protect. Right, boom, we're in protection. We're in the gray box zone. So now being in the gray box zone, we need to just break out of that zone, and that'll be a beautiful little setup there, if we can. See if we can push out of that gray box. Come on, baby. And obviously, as we know, if you look at the 30-minute, this could also be that retest of that gray box we were talking about taking sells. So got to swing high up there. This is where the next candle, will kind of give us direction. We're protecting on both ends, so obviously not going to lose, can't lose the trades. So that's a plus. So now if you're playing this and you're wanting to play both sides of the party, you can say, click a sell here at $5 a pip, throw your stop loss up there. And then if this thing decides to take off, you're golden. If it decides to slam down, you're golden. So like, for example, we'll do it. I'm not going to say something not done unless it breaks that gray zone. So let's see what we got here. So that'd be how close to that stop loss. You're talking 17 pip stop loss. That's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. Let's see. Oh, it's good. It's trying to push out. It pushed out. Dun, dun, dun. I can get rid of this sell stop down here. We're at a consolidation zone. Obviously, we never broke trend. All right, so I got 56. Oh, come on, get back up there. See what this is looking like on daily here. Let's clean this up. I can reload that template. So basically, maybe 100 pip push to that zone up top, maybe. So the reason that we're waiting on this is obviously, if we're going to reject in this area, and especially with us playing the 1 minute, it's going to it happen rather quickly. So if we were taking that sell, I got everything ready, was going to take it, but our stop loss would have been right here. We've been knocked out already twice in trying to take that trade. So when we're looking at those 30-minute rejections, we've still got, it's just going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So that's the reason we didn't click the little sell on that rejection, is because, again, it's just playing back and forth, and now it's playing above our box. So anytime you see that, you can forget taking that trade, because you have your wick fill of, obviously not on the 1 minute, your wick fill's on the 30-minute. So at this point, you're having that retest, you'd have to see how the next 30-minute candle turns out. see here. On the smaller account, did you use a larger than 2% stop loss? I didn't see where I could get in an entry with yeah. So obviously, if you were taking this entry right here on a dot to dot break right here, your stop loss for this trade is going to be 43 pips. So you would have had to take in that trade at $1 a pip. Yeah. And then if you were taking the trade earlier that we had on that break that I posted up on the right here on the 30-minute that I had, it would have been, you basically had your wick fill down here on the bottom. You had this break. So even taking that trade, you were looking at about a 257 pip stop loss. So, I mean, a person having to risk $60 wouldn't have been able to take that trade. No, you wasn't missing anything, Zach. That was, I mean, that's a perfect analysis, and that's a prime example of being smart with your risk management and knowing that, if that trade setup is going to yield you a higher stop loss for your 2% or 1% risk, you just can't take that trade. And that's a smart move because a lot of traders want to take that trade. A lot of traders want to get in. They're like, it's okay. I can risk $200 today. And it's like, but that's technically 4% of your account. Just wait. There's going to be more trade setups. There's going to be more trades come your way. So there's no reason trying to risk, those trades and getting into those positions that could ultimately just murder your account. All right, guys. So we're pushing really good right now on this move. Like I said, we've got, if you look at the daily, go ahead and clear off everything on our screen because we don't need it right now. If you look at this daily, though, I mean, we've got a nice little area right here that we need to push to and break through, and it hits that wick right there. And then we can basically say on the top of this wick, so this right here is going to be in a very important zone, hitting this black line right here and then moving up to this one here. We've got, this is an area of, I would call it, we really came down and wicked it and then broke. So this would be an area of support where I would be looking for that rejection. And if we can break this area, then we'd be getting that 30,437. So again, we'll just keep our eyes peeled and see. Not bad. This would be, if we closed everything out right now, balance on this account is 5,600. So we'd be at 68. So, I mean, that'd have been a solid, what is that? 10%. We're at 20% of the account already today. So, we'll just see if we can push up to that, I mean, it's a pretty hefty chunk to have to push up to. I mean, that's another, 62 pips. So we'll see if we can pull it out. And we do have, I need to double check news today. So I know we had news. Yeah, news is at 10 o'clock. So that's going to be something to just keep into consideration as we push up in this area. Is news at 10 o'clock, depending on the news, we could just slam right back down or it could send us flying. So I'd love to see us push, up into this area before news and go ahead and cut off, a couple of these positions and just put some money in the bank. That'd be amazing. It does. Like, I mean, when you're trading market open and you're having to react, I mean, you've got to be, you've got to be on that A game. You've got to be ready to click the button. That's why I use buy stops and sell stops. There's no reason for me to sit here during market open and try to figure out what's going to happen, what's going to go here. And granted, I did take that one position early, but is what it is. All right. So let's see where that put us at. And we know this area right there. Yep, it wasn't quick enough on these. So yeah, if you're not, I mean, obviously, if you're not in this trade, you're just not in this trade. You're not trying to make something happen on this one. Excuse me. Look at that weekly where we at. Yeah, I mean, obviously on the weekly, we've already bumped past that in that area. So yeah, that 30,000 131 is going to be a pretty sweet area. We just brought price. I mean, obviously from this morning, we just brought price back into the 30,000 area. 30,000 area is kind of a sweet area for sentiment. So, that's kind of important for us just to think about that number 30,000. So 30,000 is either going to reject or it's going to push us through, one of the two. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had a question that come through here directly to me asking, Andy, we see that you normally protect your entries and let runners run. If you'd have protected your entries and let your runners run yesterday, you'd have been setting fat today. Is there a reason you didn't do that? Yeah, the reason I didn't leave a runner yesterday was, the market fell. I mean, just tremendously. If you look at the last, weeks, I mean, we have just been falling. So for me, it was like, we are on if you look at the patterns, we've been bearish. So if I left a runner and it got tagged out, I'd have felt pretty bad about that one. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a full TP. Take a full TP. Anytime I'm trading, remember too, a smaller account, I take the full TPs. The reason I do that is because you're not going to build as much equity when you're taking, like, say, a $3 a pip and you're cutting that down to $1 a pip and you leave a runner. To ask for 1,000 pip runner is massive. So it's like you're only going to make $1,000 in that. Whereas if you just close the whole position now, you're going to make a chunk of change on it. So the way I like to build my smaller accounts is obviously taking those whole positions and just cutting them and then taking the profit for the day. So like right now, profit goal on the small account's $500. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I've got this $8 a pip here. I'm going to take that and cut that down to 6. So I need to be at 6,100 when I close these positions out. Okay. So I can leave a $6 a pip runner here. I'll give this candle just a little bit of time to see if it can, push itself up. And if it comes back down and tries to fill its own wick, I'll go ahead and close this one out. That way I can get maximum profit out of my partial. All right, let's see here. Come on. How far are we away from? Yeah, we're still a little bit of ways away. But so basically I'll go ahead and set myself a reaction point. So my reaction point is right there, which means if I get down to this 30,000, 667, that's where I was going to close out my partial anyway. So I'm just going to kind of watch this candle. So I can pull out, because obviously the higher it goes, the more profit I'm going to pull out of that partial. So right now, small account's at $7,000. I mean, that's a nice little chunk. So let's push this thing up. Come on. We need to change this line. That way we know it's my reaction point. So we're going to change this to yellow. So that's going to be my partial point if I don't get up to that black line. All right, on top of $30,000, we are looking solid. Come on, give it to me. I'll mark that up for you guys live. You can't. There you go, Market. Thank you for not embarrassing me. All right, bam, close out that partial. So I closed out a lot more than what I wanted to, obviously, because I only left 3 running. Dadgummit, son of a gun. I didn't close out how many I wanted to. I put how much I wanted to leave running. Oh, you're an idiot, Andy. I'm having too much fun today. Oh, well. All right. So where that leaves me now, since I did that, I've got this 2 here. Leaving this 2 running is not worth leaving this 2 running, because this 2 is higher as far as being knocked out. This one's going to be higher in profit. So what I can do is the 2 right now that's lowest in profit, which is this one right here, is the one I'll tag out. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move the stop loss for that one right here. And that way, if it gets tagged out, it gets tagged out. It will close that trade for me. And then I'll leave this one here just in case we play this from here to here, which would give me about another $600 on that trade. So we'll see what happens, but not too shabby. We started this off at 5,600. We're set at 6,600. We put $1,000 in the bank. That should put us there. Yeah, right there. Bam. $1,000 in the bank. So not bad for today. And then, if we close out now, we'd be at 1,700 for the day, which isn't terrible. So again, we'll just watch this and see how it plays out. Let's see. I'm gonna read some of these questions real quick. Hi, Andy. How do you explain US 30 being bullish fundamentally speaking? I don't. There is no way we're being bullish in fundamentals. We're just playing the price that it gives us. That's it. What's up, Matthew? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, the small account's fun, man. It's I tell people I have more fun trading a smaller account because it keeps you having to act sharp. You don't have room for error. You're having to use really small lot sizes to push something big and hope for that move, or you're having to wait for a really tight stop loss and take advantage of rejections or those trend line breaks where you've got to swing low really tight to you. So yeah, smaller accounts need to be taken on smaller time frames all day. So with the smaller account, is it better to start with no commissions? Yes, I trade raw spread with commissions because US 30 is such a small commission out anyway that it really doesn't matter. If you're trading pairs though, that will matter on the smaller accounts. So for the trade, for the $8 a pip trade that I took on here, what I was looking at right here was if this trade came back down and tapped this here, I was going to close it. So basically, if we went back down and touched my original entry, I was going to end up closing that trade. So, I mean, that put me at roughly a 38 pip stop loss. So you're looking at what, 320 bucks on that trade. So, I mean, almost 6 to 7% of the account on that trade, but I've got positive equity. So I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, I put 0.06, meaning I wanted to keep 0.06. So it should have been a 0.03, which just, I mean, that kind of sucks. It doesn't kind of suck. I mean, it does suck because, I mean, that right there is an additional 400 bucks that I put in the bank. But, all is all what it is. No, I will not sell at TP. Not since we have fallen down so much and the economy's kind of in shackles right now. I'm jumping this down to the 5 minute there. I'm just kind of looking at this as, we're going to push up. I got my price locked in. I got my positions locked in. We're looking good. So I'm just playing the game on the short side. I'm not looking for trying to catch a reversal. Like today, we got news at 10 o'clock. So we'll see what that news brings us. If the news knocks me out of my positions, I'm knocked out. I'm done for the day. But I mean, the account, I made $1,000 no matter what. So, and that's how you have to look at that. You have to just look at short term on small accounts. So for you funded guys that trade, if you were trading, say, your funded accounts, then the way you'd have looked at this is, okay, Andy's trading, a $5,000 account at market open, and I'm trading a $100,000 account. But technically at a $100,000 account, you can only risk $5,000 total of your equity. So if you see me going in like with that one, the fact that I went in with a 0.08, you could have went in with almost say a 0.24 or a 0.32 with that same tight stop loss. And then you would have netted, 4X what I would have done. So like, instead of when I just closed out my partial, you'd have closed out, $4,000 to $5,000 instead of my 1,000 on your funded account. So you would have already been at 10% of passing, your phase one just on that one trade. Obviously, if you stack positions like I did, you probably would have more than likely passed phase one and or phase two as soon as it hit that black line right there. So just a good way to simplify the math in your head for when you're taking those trades. So now, Andy, what's it doing? We're on the 5 minutes, kind of setting above your black line there. You can see that, we've been sitting here now. We came up, tested it, got a wick. We're sitting here for 3 minutes. We got news at 10 o'clock. So the market is more or less going to sit here and try to figure out what's going to happen during news. Now, here's what happens. We can go and remove this yellow line. I don't need that. All right. So let's look to see what we got on the daily. We pushed up. We touched our black line here. If we're going to reject, this is the area we're going to reject at. And if we reject, obviously, you're looking back into this area here to this area here. Not the best of structure, but you could also make it work. If we're looking at the 30 minute, You could come back down, eat this whole entire candle back up into this area. We have consolidation all through here. Like that. So if it's going to reject with news being bad, it's going to come right back down and knock us out of those entries, just like that. Now, you can play devil's advocate if you want to. We got positive equity. You know, we got in our buys, we got a $2 and a $2 here running, which puts us at $4 a pip where we're at. I could go in here and say that I want to do $3 a pip, run a sell stop, throw that sucker right there. If it knocks me out and goes back and tags me out from here to back to this gray box at $3 a pip, that right there's $300. If it takes me back down to here, that's going to be about 340, 350 bucks to play both ranges. And then it could just hit that and just, you know, tank all the way down to here and make me 1,500 bucks for the day. This right here is something I like playing with. Now, obviously it could come down, hit that stop loss, put me in at $3 a pip, and then start rising up. Well, if it does, now I got a problem. I'm losing $1 a pip every time it goes up. So if it goes up 500 pips, that means I'm going to lose $500 of the profit I just made. All right. So we can do one of two things. We can take this now and say, you know what? I'm willing to take a little bit of a loss if it hits this and comes and knocks me down at $3 a pip. All right. Or you can do this number right here. And you can take this down to $2 and do a set of stop. Put about right there. That way, if it knocks this out, hits this and gets midways down, you're hedged. You put a stop loss up here, and then if it flies through it, obviously it's going to knock you out of the $2. Your $2 down here is going to run. And if you had a 500 pip day, you just made another $1,000. Yes, this one is recording. I'll post this one in the Discord for everybody. So news drops in 6 minutes. We'll see what happens here. But solid day, guys, solid day. I was excited about this one. Coming off of a day like yesterday and then coming into today, I was kind of, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty, jacked up. I love, and when I say jacked up, like in a good way, I just love, since I don't trade on Mondays, when I catch a move on a day I don't trade on, it normally just makes me feel good. Especially on a Monday, because typically on Mondays, I'm always losing. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and you can hear it in my voice. People always say, Andy, when you're trading these smaller accounts, you seem more excited. It's like I am, because it's, it brings me back to, that time of where $500 is a big deal. $250 is a big deal, and you're just sitting there looking at your account and you see it go from, $1,500 to $2,800, from 2,800 to say, 31. And then you got that 31 to 4,000. And then you just see this slow gain. And all of a sudden you look back and you're like, wow, it's at $15,000. I can up it to maybe $5 to $10 a pip now and not feel too crazy about it. And then that 15,000 turns into 25, from 25 to 40. And before you know it, you look back and you're like, wow, I'm halfway to a 6-figure account. And I'm using the same setups. I'm using the same strategies. I'm looking for literally everything's identical. I'm not over leveraging. I'm still using my $2 to $3, my $5 here, maybe my big, lot size when I know that there's going to be an area for a small stop loss. And when you just see it grow like that, it gets me excited because it shows people what's possible. I mean, think about that one person that says, man, I could really use, that extra $500 to $1,000 a month. And if they've got a little bit of capital and they learn how to trade, they learn the dots, they learn risk management. I mean, you look right now, like the account that we're trading, you could make a withdrawal right now. If I close out all trades, you've got $7,500. For some people, $7,500 is life changing and paying off a bill, maybe a down payment on, a new car for transportation, or maybe their business. Maybe just paying off debt that's been hanging over their head forever. or knowing, hey, my electric bill's paid for the rest of the year. I mean, there's just so many things that can do for people. Are there keyboard shortcuts for Carbon? I feel like I've seen it. Yes. So, well, if you see me get the crosshairs, I just have it's the mouse wheel. So I just click the mouse wheel, and that's what brings up my crosshairs. And then Control N is in Nancy, brings up my navigation window. And Control M as in man brings up markets. And then Control T for trade brings up your trade window in the bottom. Oh, there we go. Is this a push prior to the news coming out? This is when I needed that $6 a pip running. Dadgummit. Where is that? God, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, that'd been, man, that'd been an extra $300. Andy, why you gotta look at that stuff, bro? Chill. All right, so my goal for today, is obviously if I close out right now, I'd have a straight almost $2,000. I want to see equity at 8K. So obviously I do need another $400 on this. I'm thinking numbers in my head. I basically got $4 a pip running. So I need another 100 pip push. So for me to be happy with my trades today, I need a 100 pip push. So from here to about right there. So 30,277. 30,277. That right there is where Andy Peters is happy. So if we can just tap that yellow line, I can close everything out. I'm at 8K. It's a happy day for me. I mean, not 8K day, but 8K account. We're solid. Got news coming up in 1 minute. Let's see what happens. Go get my trigger fingers ready. Excuse me. Watch it be the weakest news we've seen yet. And just be like, I'll be like, daggone. Good question here. Good question. I like this. Andy, why do you feel that you have been successful trading a small account, but when others trade small accounts to flip, they end up blowing them? I've seen this numerous times. What is your secret? Not over leveraging. $1, the $2, the $3 a pip. Just trying not to get carried away with lot sizes, thinking Lambo money. Everyone wants to flip a small account from 5K to 100K. And it's like, it doesn't happen overnight. 99.9% of the account flips that you guys have seen have been on demo accounts. I mean, think about this. When have you ever seen someone flip an account live trading, not behind the scenes, not a recording, live trading, where you see them take the trades, you see them make the withdrawals from that account, and you see it hit their crypto account or their bank account? It hardly ever happens. I can name 2 people I've personally seen do that, but outside of that, it doesn't happen that often. So it's like a lot of them are just demo accounts, and they're using it for, social media. They're using it for a sponsored ad, or they're using it for Telegram groups. So it's like, you've got to think realistically when you're looking at what people are doing and what other people are trying to achieve. If flipping, like right now, if you go to YouTube and type in account flips, you're going to get probably, I'd say, an easy 1,000+ videos. I mean, literally, it's a whole page full of them with crypto, stock, and I'm not just talking about Forex. I'm talking about everything, crypto, stocks, Forex, everything. So when you see that, if that many people were able to flip accounts that easy, everyone would be rich. Everyone. It's not that easy. Bam, we just hit my yellow line. What's up, baby doll? Hey, baby. I know you want to go to Baskin Robbins. I got you. Daddy's got to close this trade out so I can buy you some ice cream. All right, let's see here. What do I do? So this is the hard part, guys. Do we close it out knowing I'm happy, or do we push to the black line I wrote up here that is 150 pips away? So this is what we have to look at. If I hold these trades for, say, 100 more pips, that's only going to put $400 in my bank account. Is it worth $400 to possibly lose $1,400? The answer to that is absolutely no. That's what we're not going to do. We figure up risk. We know that this is only from here to here is only $400. From here to knock out at break even means I lose 1,400. So that means we close it. We're done. All right, now I've got the sell stop down here. Andy, the market could just tank itself. You could be sitting here and this candle could just eat itself up. And there's another, $1,400 to $2,100. You know what? You're absolutely right. But it is not worth the risk right now to leave that. Or is it? So let's see. All right, so I'm going to go back here. We already know we've got our lines here. We know this black line is going to be our support on the bottom. This is our wick up top. So support on the bottom of this area, if we we're about right there. So let's go and turn this one to black. Actually, let's not use black on this one. Let's use pink. All right, so we know this, right? You like that color? Is that your color of choice, Landon? I use pink because you're here. All right, so we know that this area right here is where if we were to break this black line here and the daily candle came back down, we would at least touch into here. Keep in mind, that's going to be a big wick for today. If it just came back down here to a wick, it would most certainly have to push back down into here to keep the same candle formations that we've had going down. I typically don't trade those, but it would have to, which would look something like that right there. So it'd have to fall somewhere inside this zone, okay? So now let's look at the 30-minute. There's where our 30 minutes at. All right. Good, we got out of our yellow line, so we've got profit there. So here's what I would do, being 30 minutes, I'd take my little sell stop and place it right below that by about, it's 38 pips. Let's just run that to 27, 30-ish pips, right, just like that. So that way, if this 30-minute candle does decide to come back down and touch this gray box here, I mean, that's going to be about another $600-700 pip trade. Chances of us getting wicked on this candle and then it flying more than likely isn't going to happen because this is our market open candle, okay? So as we're playing this market open candle, there's a ton of people that are in these trades. What always normally happens to people that are in trades? Price still comes back down and knocks them out normally, okay? So we look at the 1 hour here. Say we're going to zoom out. You had all the people that were here in buys and it pushed up, almost 1,000 pips. And then what happens? The market comes right back down. It would get you where that trend line came in and broke. Right there's where your trade entry would have been. You got knocked out. People got knocked out. Like, I'm going to get back in it. You got back in it, tried to knock you out again, price went up. You're like, yep, we're winning. And then it knocked you out again. Okay. Well, guess what you also had? You had people that were taking this trend, line like that, boom, and got in sells right here and got in sells at that wick fill rejection. You had 9 hours to click sell. So people got into these sells. And they're like, oh yeah, bro, I'm about to buy my Lambo. I'm 1,000 pips in profit. Well, guess what happened to them? Nope, you got knocked out too. All right, so now we know that if we look at this, we've got, I didn't mean to do that. Man, I gotta go put my lines back. So let's say you were taking these trades, trend line break, boom, 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 or you had a trend line break there, like that. You got in here, boom, you got in here, boom. All these people are possibly still in these entries, or they have runners from yesterday, right? This price, more than likely, at some point, will come back down here, retouch this trend, and go back up. So there's still going to be winnings that's going to happen. We just have to wait now to see how that's going to play out. But now I got to put my yellow line back to how I had everything. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, it's not yellow line, pink line. I really like that area right there. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. So if we go back, look at the 1 minute, there's where we closed out. We're pretty dang close to it. Trade history, bam, right on the yellow line. Closed out, which is good because I remember that's $4 a pip. So I'd end up losing right now almost $120 extra, which would have put me below the goal that I had in my head of $8,000. So now we just watch. Now, obviously, this is where you have a really small stop loss. You have a stop loss of 56 pips. So ultimately, if you wanted to play this game, dadgummit, we're going to play it. Well, I'm going to play it, should I say. You'd click sell like that. So now knowing that you click sell here, your stop loss is going to be right there, 110 pips. Okay, that's your stop loss. Technically, you need, $110. I need to be 10 pips above that in case you get a wick, which would be right there, like that. Now, if I lose this trade, obviously I'm going to lose it at $130, and that's going to take me below my $8,000. Oh well, so be it. What I did here was you've got a 1 minute swing high. You hardly ever play sells on a swing high on the 1 minute. Like, it never works out in your benefit 9 times out of 10. You had a swing high here, look, it repainted. You had another swing high at this one, and it repainted and knocked you out. But if you're trying to play that quick scalp game, tight entry, that's what you have. Because when you go to the 30 minute, Let's use a clean chart here. When you go to the 30-minute, there is your wick. If that turns into, I mean, because it could, but let's just pretend that if that turned into your wick fill, that now becomes your rejection area wherever that candle stops on the next 30-minute candle. So super, super high risk entry, but keep in mind, we only have 130 pip stop loss. So if this was that true wick fill where price rejects, 500, 700 pips or whatever, you were only risking $130. So I'm cool to risk $130. Now, does anyone know why I risked $130? All right, I'll help you out here. So if you look at my trades that I took today, we're setting at, if you take the 1730 and then you take the 1739, add those together, that's $2,469. If you multiply that by your 5% risk, you're at $123. So technically, I'm only risking 5% of the profits I made today, not my total equity that I have in the account, which is your smart move. You always want to risk your positive equity. So that's where we're at. So now if we look at this trade that had small risk and where we're at, we're already at $49, $45. Now there's no reason to take a chance on losing this trade, right? So all we got to do is just protect this entry. And if it knocks us out, it knocks us out, but we're protected. So I can't lose this trade. If anything, I'm going to make 16 bucks minus commissions or whatever. And then that's that. And you just can't be afraid of, a lot of people don't like to protect because they'll say, man, if this thing were to fly down 700 pips, I missed that entry. Who cares? You've already made your money, So boom, tag me out. All right. So who cares? Look, go back and look at history. Oh, look, we made 15 bucks. Awesome. No big deal. That's where we're at. So go back. We got a 30-minute candle right there. Obviously, from price to where we're at right there on the fall is 121 pips. So not a massive push, but if anything comes and hits that, it takes us down here, we'll ride with it. Now let's see what the news said that came out about the jobs. So news was they forecast 11.07 million, actual was 10.05. So less in this case is worse than what we need. So the news fundamentally was worse. However, price ended up jumping a total of almost 400 pips on market open. All right. So we have to ask ourselves this. News was bad. This was yesterday. So from yesterday to current price, where we went to the top, is 1,692 pips. So are we looking for a fallout? Are we looking for a bigger sell? I mean, what happens if we could engulf this candle to make up for the bad news? Well, measure that out. That's 625 pips, not terrible. So will this hold? Will we break? We don't know. We react to it. But that's also my morning. So I'm done with trading. We did the thing. You guys saw me start this morning at $5,600. And obviously we ended it at $8,000.